An Ackworth man who once had a leadership role at a popular Cobb County church has been arrested. Even more concerning, Cobb police have charged him with 4 counts of child molestation for his alleged encounters with a 15-year-old boy who also attends the church.
I can hear you typing on your keyboard right now. Why do we always have to hear about the bad things that happen in the church? Because you need to know. Now, I try to produce content that talks about good and bad. And yes, the majority might be bad. But I feel like you need to be made aware of the bad things that are happening solely because a lot of us have our heads under the rug. Our eyes are blinded. We feel like when we go to church, our pastor is great, the leaders are great, and everything is good. So we're safe and our children are safe. And that's not always the case. And evil does show up in the church. I think we should know that by now. But it seems like some of us are still very blinded by a lot of things that have taken place in the church and a lot of things that can take place in the church. That's why these things keep happening over and over and over again. And I'm here to make you aware of it. So I want to get into some clips. Please make sure that you like this video so the algorithm can push it out because I want other people to see it. And I want you to subscribe to the channel because that helps me to know that you are here to watch my videos. And you know what? I've always missed saying turn on your notifications so that you know when my videos come on. So why don't you start doing that for me?
Cobb police tell me they arrested Marcus Turner on October 6th of this year. A spokesperson for Worship with Wonders tells me that Turner's leadership role as director of operations ended in December of 2021.
I know you're probably wondering, why am I talking about something that happened back in 2023? But there's more to the story, so just be patient and keep watching because I'm showing you things to look out for when it comes to people like this man. That's the reason, again, why I put out videos like this. This helps us to use our discernment. This helps us to have our eyes open. And sometimes they might be a little bit too open, but I would rather for me to be cautious of everybody and everything than not to be cautious at all. I'd rather for you to do the same thing.
The enemy is wreaking havoc on our schools, our universities. There is no they, them. There is no I think, I wish, maybe, if I want to be there. You're a man or you're a woman. You're a boy or you're a girl. I bind up the spirit of confusion that the enemy has tried to place in the minds of people in this nation. I bind up the spirit of confusion. Now I break it. I curse 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 it. Satan, you do not win. You may have thought you have won, but you do not win. You may have won a battle, but you don't win the war.
Let me give you a little background on Marcus Kendell Turner. Now, he was a part of the LGBTQ plus A community, and he decided that he wanted to live right, live by the word of God, and turn away from the homosexuality sin. And so he started attending Wonders with Worship Church. He became the face of the church. I mean, this man was super popular. So popular to the point where they let him form groups with children and outings and things like that. I mean, they really had to be very trusting of him. Well, they knew he dealt with the homosexuality sin, but what they did not know is that he had a liking for children. And so sometime in December of 2021, according to the reporter, he was let go. But then in September of 2023, the police was called by a child's mother to let them know this man had been messing with her son, her 15-year-old son. Now, I want to get into what happened to Marcus Kendell Turner after all of this took place. And I also want to read something because it just came out on February 20th, 2026. District Attorney Susan K. Treadaway announces that Marcus Kendell Turner, 34, of the Ackworth area of Cherokee County, pled guilty on February 9th to MEX crimes involving a teenage child. Turner admitted to all 11 counts he faced. Law enforcement first became aware of allegations of child MEX crimes when the victim's mother called 911. Cobb County Police launched the initial investigation, and Cherokee Sheriff's Office became involved when evidence showed abuse also occurred in Cherokee County. Turner held a leadership role in Worship with Wonders, a Cobb County church, where he initiated the relationship with the teenage victim. Detectives determined that in May 2023, Turner invited a middle school boy to join a new church youth group called Hangout Life Crew. Within months, Turner began spending time alone with the child and communicating frequently with him by text and phone. Over 5 months, they exchanged 12,691 text messages. This man sent this child 12,691 text messages in 5 months. I don't even text my husband that much. My husband doesn't even text me that much. This man got so close to this child that he was able to abuse this child all the way up until September of 2023, even after the church had let him go. Now, the mother says that the church did not report this incident when she reported it in September 2023. But the church says different. So I want you to hear what the church had to say. And I also want you to hear what another member of the church had to say about the situation. Let's take a listen.
Church leaders Miles and Delana Rutherford released a letter to Fox 5 and the congregation saying they went to police with information about Turner and the alleged victims, who they say are both church members. In their statement, the Rutherfords say they would never tolerate or condone any sexual immoral actions in their church. Miss Nelson, who is a mother of 4, says her attention now has turned to other teens or children who may have encountered suspect Turner.
My concern is that there are more victims. There are more victims. My concern is that there are more predators, because the church is trying to silence this. They're trying to minimize that his role in leadership. They're trying to say he had no assignments of responsibility for these children, and I gave him assignments of responsibility as the children's ministry director.
Worship with Wonders leaders disagree with Miss Nelson. They say they took immediate action. They don't think they have any more victims in their church, and they are cooperating with Cobb police.
Let me just say this so that we're not so hard on leaders in the church. They're humans and they can make mistakes. And so I understand that maybe the pastor or whoever else was over this particular ministry chose the wrong person, and the wrong person looks like Marcus Kendell Turner. I get that. And it's really unfortunate. But what I don't get, what I will never understand, is how a church will sweep something under the rug instead of being upfront with their congregation, apologizing profusely to what has happened and trying to fix the trauma that has taken place. I will never understand that, because I know that as human beings, we mess up, we make mistakes. And so I know that they probably didn't even realize this guy liked little kids. They were like, okay, we're dealing with this sin right here, but it's okay for him to do all of these other things. It's okay for him to create a youth group called Hangout Life Crew and be around young boys. It's okay, because he's truly not dealing with liking children. He's dealing with homosexuality of liking men. They're not thinking that. But to not be upfront with your congregation is a problem for me. So no, I do not believe them. I believe the lady who is a member of their church. And if I were her, I would take all of my 4 children and find another church home. I know she wants to stay there and help the other kids. I get it. But she gonna have to let their parents do that. Parents, this is when you step in. Now that you know that this man could have possibly had other victims, it is time for you to step in and have conversations with your children. Not press them, not badger them, but have a loving conversation, so in hopes that they come out to you and say, Mom, Dad, yes, he did something to me. Because this is a mess. And I don't believe them. I don't. People that have churches want to protect their church and their brand. And they want to protect their bottom line, which is money. And that should never come before the congregation, the sheep that you are leading, that God has put you over. And that's if God has put them over it. That's if, because this is a mess. But at least somebody is getting what they got coming. Because the Bible word does not come back void in the Bible. The Lord tells us that you will reap what you sow. And Marcus Kendell Turner is reaping what he sowed.
A former Marietta church leader is going to prison after pleading guilty to several sex crimes against a teen victim. 34-year-old Marcus Kendell Turner pleaded guilty to 11 counts in Cherokee County Superior Court on February the 9th. He has now been sentenced to 25 years without the possibility of parole.
I wish there were harsher consequences for people like this. And I can't say what those consequences are because I want to keep my YouTube channel. So I'm going to have to be satisfied with him getting 25 years with no parole. Now, to the parents, all I can say is you just have to be mindful of what's going on with your children. Checking their phones, because at 15 years old, for him to have a 5-month conversation with someone with over 12,000 text messages, there was no phone checking. Check the bill. You have to stay aware, because a lot of times, even though you tell your children to come to you if certain things like this happen, sometimes your children won't. Sometimes they will keep those things to themselves because they feel like it's right, because it doesn't feel bad to them. And it is very, very bad. Children are just not safe anywhere. That's what I'm feeling like. And I remember speaking on my daughter, who is an adult now, spending the night at a friend's house. And I didn't really care for the friend. And they're not friends now, right? And I never said that anything took place at this friend's house. And someone commented, I have kids in their 30s and I never let them spend a night at anyone's house. And I was like, okay, I didn't think it was a competition. But at the same time, do you think that the only place that something can happen to your child is at a friend's house? If they spend the night, you can let your child go to the neighbor's house and play and something can happen. You can let someone hold your baby and something can happen in broad daylight. There was a judge who was messing with a baby in broad daylight at a parade. I need you to hear me. Good parents would love to be able to keep an eye on their children 24/7, but it is not possible. And good parents don't want to seem like psychopaths where they are helicopter parents and they don't let their children go anywhere. You want to be able to have freedom and you want your children to have freedom. I get that as a good parent. So it's hard out here to figure out, should I let my child be a part of this church group? Should I let them go into Boy Scouts? Which that's another problem. The answer is no. Do your own research. Should I let my child go play at the neighbor's house? It's all of these things, because there are so many crazy things that are happening in the world. And it's not just when your child is spending the night. It's everywhere. Just keep your children covered in prayer. Just keep your babies covered in prayer. And we will too. I'll be praying, and I know that my community will be praying too. Please read the description in this video, because I always add scriptures. Go look them up, read it for context, and let me know what you think about this video in the comments below, because that's what I'm here for.